In this example, we are going to do another law of cosine problem. Just a quick refresher that if you can't use law of sines, then you got to use law of cosines. And to know if you can use law of sines, you need an angle and a side across from each other. As long as you have that, you can use law of sines. So in this situation, we don't have that. So we're going to use one of these formulas to figure this out. And they're all just kind of iterations of each other. So it's really based off of one, and then you adjust the letters a little bit. But this one is we have all the sides. We don't have any angles. So normally we can just jump right into it, but there is one exception that you must, in order to avoid when you're going to use law of sines and to avoid an ambiguous case on this, because there is a potential for that to happen, as long as you find the largest angle first. So as long as you find the largest angle first, you can avoid all that, which is going to be C. So how do we know that? It's because the largest angle is going to be across from the largest side. So we're going to be trying to figure out what C is. So we're going to be using this version. So if we're finding angle C, that means we're going to start with side C. So it's going to be 21.1, so 21.1 squared equals the other two sides, so 9.47 squared plus 15.9 squared minus 2 times those two numbers. 9.47 times 15.9 times cosine of angle C, which we're trying to figure out how to solve for. All right, so we're going to square all these pieces. We're going to get some decent numbers. I'll do my best to try to make sure that we're okay with this. So we have a 445.21 equals 6809 plus 252.81, and then minus all of this put together is going to get us a 301.146 cosine C. All right, so now here's where people make a mistake on this thing. They just shove everything together here and then divide that over. But if we look at an algebra version of that, if we simplify the heck out of this and we made this like a 10 equaled 8 plus 12 minus 3 times a variable, you wouldn't just put all those together, because that's exactly the same look that you have, that this is like your 3x and these are the other two numbers. So those numbers are not all going to combine together, so you wouldn't do it here, so we got to make sure that we don't do it here. These two values are actually going to subtract over to the other side, just like they would here. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to take these two values and we're going to bump them over to the other side. So if we subtract the 89.6809 and we subtract the 252.81 to the other side, that's going to get us 102.7191 equals this piece, negative 301.146 cosine C. And then we'll divide, negative 301.146. Okay, so now we're sitting with some ugly decimal of 0.34 blah blah blah, and that's going to equal cosine of C. So then we'll do the inverse cosine of that. So our angle C is going to be the inverse cosine of our negative 0.34 blah blah blah, and that gets us angle C to be about 109.9 degrees. Okay, so we got one angle, and that actually allows us to not have to use law of cosines anymore, because we have one full fraction. So now anything else, we're going to jump into law of sines. So for law of sines, we'll do sine of 101.9 over 21.1 equals, I don't know, let's say we do b, so sine of b over 15.9, and then we cross multiply. So you're going to get 20.1.1 sine of b is going to equal 15.9 sine of 109.9, and then divide by your 21.1, and we're going to do the inverse sine. So b is going to be the inverse sine of that fraction, 15.9 sine of 109.9 divided by 21.1. So we plug that into the calculator. That gets us angle B to be about 45.1 degrees. So we'll throw that on our picture. And then that allows us to now have a triangle, so we could take 180 minus these two angles to get angle A. So angle A is going to be about 25 degrees. Okay, so just a quick spot check, make sure everything feels okay. And this is your worst case scenario, by the way, for your law of sines or cosines. That if you have all the sides, unfortunately you have the hardest work here, and then it kind of goes back into a normal problem once you figure out that piece. But largest angle, largest side, smallest angle, smallest side, that little bit of information kind of corresponds, so that probably going to be okay with our answer. And that was a law of cosines, but with all sides given.